Hello racing fans, Racing393. Racing fans, well you know what I mean, RC fans, same thing. Fans. Right. RC10T build time. I see, I've got everything apart from speed controller. I'm just trying to think. Well, you know, as far as building the chassis, I think I've got everything. I've got the hop-ups that I need. I haven't got a speed controller. I'm working on that. I know which one I'd like to get. It's quite expensive. But, you know, that's at the time of recording in the future. So the video is going to be a detailed build of the RC10T with hop-ups. I'm always a little bit behind the rush. People have built these already. I don't know if anyone's raced any of these yet. Being a two-wheel drive truggy, rear motor mounted, so hanging over the back axle, as per most of the vintage RC10 era cars. So this is going to be the very first RC10 based car, truck, with a T on the end, but my very first RC10 build. Never built one. So I'm looking forward to it. Got all the upgrades, which you probably would have seen in a previous video. I'm going to try and do as detailed as I can with the equipment that I've got. So I'll try and see if I can scale this one down a little bit so it doesn't drag on. But I've got to bear in mind the other reason what some people have said is milk these videos. Well, at this time I don't have everything. I've got 90% of it. Like I said, the speed controller is the only... Oh, actually, the speed controller... Here, I've got a list now. Speed controller, receiver... And depends if I purchase another transponder, which I probably will. So I plan to race it somehow. I don't know if that's going to be viable, but that's down the line. Yeah, so they're three fairly expensive products to buy. It doesn't end there, of course. So, without further ado, let's Scooby-Doo, Scooby-Doo, down to the shed, and we'll start this build. Please like and subscribe to be notified when future videos of my RC10T get released. Okay, here we are, part one of one of the most interesting builds I'm going to do. For me, I've never built an RC10 ever. Yet I've got another three behind me, and another one on its way. So, RC10T. The T, which I don't believe anybody would ever know what it doesn't stand for. Truck. So it's the competition RC truck, 60th anniversary from back in the day. The RC10T championship winning engineering, championship winning building, assembly, installation, we hope. If you saw the other video, I've got a load of other bits and pieces here. Well, I say a load of other bits and pieces, mainly tyres and things that will go on this, wheels and tyres. So I'll try and keep as much detail as I can on this, because I've never built one. I think because it's already new to me, it'll come across like that on the video as well. So might use different camera angles, I don't know yet. See how we get on. But yeah, we've got some more hop-ups which you may or may not have seen. So let me just, what's in the box? No, let's open the box. The box will be moved out of the way in a minute. So probably what you haven't seen, well yeah, you might have seen those, yeah. So turnbuckles, you definitely wouldn't have seen this. Got a servo, so that's a reef servo, racing servo, and we've settled on an 8.5 turn motor. I haven't got the speed controller yet. There's one that's just come out, it's quite a lot of money. I'm looking at getting one of those in a month or two, depends on cash flow, because they're quite expensive. I suppose without further ado, I'll need to get all this stuff out of the box and get some sort of order on the bench.
Yay! Raffle time! Sorry to disappoint you. Back to the video. No raffles on this channel. The reason being, I've got nothing to raffle anyway.
Right, so fortunately everything's marked by A, B, C, D, etc. So the first we need to start is, why can't I find it? There it is. Bag A. It says on there, well, nose plate and steering build, bag A, step 1. Right, so we get the bag open. We'll go from there. So in here we've got wishbones. Well, I need something to open that with, don't I? So I'm just going to get everything out, just making sure I've got all my Imperial hardware tools. I'm just going to empty these into just a glass container for now. .24.5 degrees, so hot. Right, step 1 is we're just going to put the upright together. Now I'll go trim these off anyway, because they'll have the flashing on there. So let me do that, then I'm going to do step 1, ball stud and nut. Couldn't be easier.
Easy, you say? Oh yeah, but you've never built an RC10 chassis. What about the Eclipse?
One thing is for sure, when building anything that's not Tamiya, the problem is they've got 3-dimensional pictures which don't mean anything to me, where Tamiya give you like a 1-to-1 measurement on the page, you know. And you'd think these would be like handed, well they are handed, but there's nothing on them. There might be an L on there, if I just can't see it because my freaking, oh yeah, it has got it on there. I've rephrased that. So it has got a little L on there, a little L. You can just about see it. And a little R. Oh. But things like that. Right, that's all right, all makes sense now. Got to get used to the American measurements. 0.30. Was that 30 mil? Must be, and that's 0.20. Must be, that's what it is. So this goes in there. So out of those two nuts, it's got a 440 small pattern plain nut,
440 nuts. So that's the plain nut. Lock, stroke, plain, yep. And that just says nut. That's a 440 nut. And that's a small 440. It doesn't say small, but it would make sense to put small. Because it's sure that's too big. I don't know if that's right. Who can I call? Who knows? Step 1. Confused. Nut. Nut. All these questions and I still don't know. I don't reckon that's right. It does fit flush though. Fortunately, these push in quite lightly because you've got to line up the hole for the spindle. They fit quite nice, like snug, but not mega tight. E-clip. E-clip. I hate E-clips. Love shocks, not E-clips. I think it's quite important that you keep things organised, like E-clips in a container, and use tweezers. And stop getting your big fat head in the way. I can't pick them up. Got no nails, got no coordination. Unless of course, I reckon you do it like that, don't you? Of course you do, like that. And but we finally worked something out. I bought something which I thought was a shit idea, but it's actually quite a good idea. You know when it takes like hours to do one clip? This is one of those times. Let's do the other one. So what I do need, I need pliers, decent Tamiya pliers, and different freaking tweezers. This is why I would never do a live show. Sky, this exact reason. Fucking hell, this is impossible. And I can't pick them up. Alright, come on. Oh, has that flipped off and gone on the floor? So now we've got to sit around trying to find an E-clip. And no one's going anywhere until we find it. Move over a minute. Move over a minute. I don't want to move the seat because I'll move on to it. I heard it as well. Sky, move out the way a minute. There's not a lot of room for both of us down here. Stay there. Now stay there, don't you come down here. It's going to be one of those things which we're never going to find, are we? Sky, you can't go there because I need to get there. Oh, Sky! It hit something, I heard it, which means, well, it doesn't mean it definitely went there, but it could have gone anywhere. It could have gone freaking anywhere. And the problem is, I don't know if you get any spares. Stop. That's not helping. You can't fit there. Sky. Sky. I'm stuck. Sky, can you move? I don't know. Lost a bit. Lost one already. Sit down. Not there. Oh, his head on it. We've lost a C clip. So we're one E clip down. But these are built. It's full of E clips, this kit as well. Right, so that's the right one, isn't it? No, that's right. That's left. Okay. We've got to put the set screw in the end, so right, step, well, not step anything, step 3, nose plate. Can you see that? And the steering. So yeah, so as those done, right, on to the next. I can't believe it. They just literally fucking, it didn't even ping, it just dropped. And it's just disappeared, gone forever, forever and ever. I found, eventually, both E-clips. It's the one I lost yesterday and the one just now. I'm really struggling with E-clips. I don't quite know why. The wind's blowing a gale. I'm acting stupid. Right, let's try and put these on. Studs. Right, so I'm going to put the hardware onto this. This doesn't matter which way around it goes. Right, let's have a look. Bear with me. So that's all been put on. That's the front, pretty much. Well, it says nose plate, stroke steering. This is step 3. Anything is about this is these, I've put extra washers on just so it spreads the load a little bit. This just screws straight into the plastic. I know it's a normal thing, but I don't know, to me it would have been ideal if that went all the way through and you put a nut and bolt on it, because that could be easily stripped. But anyway, it is, we are where we are. So that's done, they're done. I'm guessing now that we can now think about putting them all together. So let's turn the page over and put these in. So I'm gonna do step 4, nose plates and steering build, and then we're going to be on to the next bit. We put it to the chassis, and then we're going to be on to one of the new bits I bought, and the steering bell crank, well, sort of servo saver if you like. Right, so I'm going to complete step 4. So I've got the chassis and the front suspension on, as you can see. The next step, I think, is making some adjustable steering arms here. You got the, well, actually, you know, it's the bell crank. So we've got bag B to find now, which I think is here. So we've got a few loose bolts in there. Bag B. Plus we can use the first of my hop-ups So I'm kind of hoping that there's a short one in there. That there is going to be the bell crank, I'm guessing. It says it's 13 millimeters. So from the, oddly enough, they measure it from the shank, if you like. But right, let's get those bits out, and then I'll be back when I've got those to hand. So I don't know if you can see those, but they're really nicely machined. Now I always have trouble trying to work out which way they go. You can see there, you've got like the arrows, but arrows both sides. So, anyway, I'm going to assemble these. Now I think what I'll also do is I'm going to put a really small amount of grease just small amount of grease on the end, and the reason I do that is that it just helps with the, you know, when you first put these on, they can be a little bit tight. There we go. So it's not a huge amount. But at least it will aid. Now I'm not sure. The other thing I haven't got is a turnbuckle wrench. Like most things, change of plan. The original turnbuckles do go in a lot easier. These ones are ever so slightly bigger, so I need different turnbuckle ends. I'll have to do some digging and I'll make up a separate set of turnbuckles. I tried to drill one out, so we've already mucked one up anyway, and I've had to use this just to grip the ends. Yeah, so the very first hop up in traditional hop up fashion I can't use, but anyway, I'm gonna just continue. I'm gonna measure this one now, just get that 13mm between the shanks, and then I'm gonna be back, and then I'll moving on to then what would be the servo saver stroke bell crank, and I'll do some research regarding these ones, because these are expensive, and I don't want to, I mean, unless they do go on and you've got to drill them out, but not that much. So I'll either way I'll find out. So I've got this little wrench here as well. So this is a little, I don't know what size it is, but it's the turnbuckle size on here. Yeah, so I've got to measure that shank there now. It says 13mm, so we shall see. So it's 11.3. So we're going to have to wind that out. It's not far off, I guess that as well. So what I tend to do is hold that in there. It's got to be held fairly firm, but not Rick Robanner type. I'm just going to undo the turnbuckle. I'll go around one turn. So that's literally one turn out. Should we look again? I'll try and do it in real time. doing it live. That's 11.6. So there's at least another turn in that, isn't there? Trying to keep the turnbuckles themselves facing the right way. So let's go out another turn. I'll go one complete turn round. I don't know if you can see that, but I'll show you anyway. There we go. These are quite brittle. I did read somewhere that you've got to change these ends to put them on those turnbuckles, and then you've got different ball cups. I just don't know. I'm not an RC10 know-it-all. Don't. Right, let's see what this reads. So that's 12.3. It's probably going to do another. It'll take another one, won't it? Because it says between them two, 13. It's a bit of a weird way. It is weird. Why can't I do the ends? Like that. I don't know if that's gone the other way. Might have done. Yeah, so it shortened it up that way. And that way. It has moved. It's the old left and right thing, isn't it? Right, let's see this in real time. That's 13. See that? Bang on, Mr. Magoo. Right. I need a bigger shed. So we've done that. Happy days. Step 2, bag B. Another upgrade. So we've got this bell crank. Let's get this out. So there's been a lot of controversy over this, as in, only what I've read, that it's loose. Just rather than being on a spindle, it's bearing located. So I bet all you RC10ers out there are going, no, don't do that. I don't blame you, because I've never. First, you know, you could there's people out there that could rattle one of these together really quickly. I can't. I've got some shoes there, and there's no destructions with this. Where does it go, I hear you ask? It's almost like the wrong way round. You know, this has got the recipe for not working, isn't it? Anyway, let me. Did you hear that? Let me do something. I'll be back in a minute once I've sorted this out. Once I've worked it out. So the bell crank is on. Wasn't that bad. I did read that there was slop. I think that there's a bit of slop here with the end. I don't know if I can show you that, but if you see that move there, and it's done up reasonably tight on here. The other one doesn't move as much, but there is still a bit of slop. It almost... I'll have to look at it because... Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm all ears if anybody knows. But by the time you give me the, you know, ideas or information, I may have already looked it up anyway. But yeah, I mean, it's all right. It's not brilliant though, is it? And there's no servo saver on it. It's going to bug me, but I'll read up on it. There's two like little spacer shims that go under the bottom, really fiddly to get aligned. And I don't know why that one's more floppy than that one. I might make some steering arms up so that I can fit these ones here on and go from there, so bear with. So there's one done. It says that's the camber, 49.5 and 49.5. So I'm not going to show you each one, but I'm going to make the other three. It takes ages, and then stick them on the car. So they're all on there. They look quite nice, standard. So not the ones I wanted to use. We'll be there. We'll get there. Right. I think that concludes this part. The next bit is putting the front bumper on. We've got some more turnbuckles to make, I think. And then the servo can go in, but I'm going to need a servo saver. Because it doesn't run one on this bell crank, so I'll have to sort something out. Yeah, so that's my next task. The servo build, which is what that's for. A slightly longer one. And then we're going to install the servo, and then I'll need to get a servo saver. So on to the next step, step 6. Got bags A, B and I, bumper mounts build, and the sort of the left and right sides to sort of have the bumper on there with the body mounts which come on here. So we've got the tubes which go through here, and which are here. So we're going to put those on, 2 of them, and sort of a bracket or a brace which goes on here for the body mounts, and then we can start looking at the bumper and then the steering servo. So it's going to fit those on. Probably goes without saying that these body pins, mounts, that you put it so the holes are the correct way. So you can have it either way, but I would have it so the pins go across. That's how I would do it, rather than, I don't know, rather than down the body. Sort of personal preference, isn't it? But that sort of goes without saying. Front bumper's on. It was a bit awkward because those countersunks there screw into the chassis, threaded, and then you've got like put these, which says in the instructions to put these on, but you can't get to them. You know, even I don't think I've got a spanner that fits that anyway. But yeah, I can't understand what that. They're just like little nuts which just nip up, but they thread in anyway. Fred? Who's Fred? Anyway, what's next? Another ball joint, ball cups, and then it'll be the servo. So I'm just going to make that steering joint up first, and then we'll come back when I'm fitting the servo. Now is a moment that we've all been waiting for. The Reef Race servo. All metal gears. Nice colour purple. But it certainly does look the part. So I've got this. I'm hoping that I've also now got which is a servo horn, which is here. It's a bit big. I'm hoping that fits. It's got different fitments here, so we're going to make sure that this goes on. We're going to centralise the servo, and then we're going to fit all this on with the servo mounts and the steering rod. Now these, I did try and fit just then these onto those new J Concepts upgraded expensive turnbuckles. You probably knew this, I didn't know this, but you're going to have to get different turnbuckles, rod ends, because I did, one went on, but it was at a weird angle as well, so yeah, so something needs to be changed with that. I'll look into that, unless by the time you see this video I still haven't found out, then you can let me know. But anyway, let's get this on the car. So the servo's in. The servo horn's such a big beast that I think it was rubbing on the chassis, so I had to space the servo a little bit. But then the countersunk screws are not quite long enough, so I'm going to have to look at that. But it's in. I'll just do this, so it's not set left and right as in through this, but like that. And if you go too far, it starts to pull that. So you've got like limits, you've got your end points, and that's quite a lot of steering, to be honest. So if you go too far, it comes all the way up. So obviously this isn't limited, is it? But it seems, I'm looking at that, you know, there's a possibility that needs to be in the lower hole, which I'll figure out that when I'm sort of fitting this permanently with the proper screw. Well, it's got the proper screws in, they're just not long enough, but it's got a lot of toe out on turns, so it can't go much more than that. And that. But anyway, bit fiddly, but we're getting there. So that's the steering at the moment, sort of fitted. I'm a bit dubious about the servo horn, whether it's screwed on enough. I'm not too sure yet. I mean, I think I need to adjust. There's a few things here with the toe out and what have you, but it's nothing to worry about at the moment. But right, what's next? I think we're talking about the rear hubs now, so that'll be my next port of call. Servo's in. I just changed the bolts on the back. They're not countersunk, but they're slightly longer. Maybe Team Associated will have longer ones in the kit somewhere, but that I haven't used yet. But anyhow, it's good enough. I was going to move that down, but there isn't a hole there anyway, so 3 washers and that's clear of the chassis. So rear now, so step 1 again of bag G, rear end build, which includes wishbones, uprights, bearings, spacers, and well, the rear hub and stub axle, but we've got those upgraded parts, so we'll do them. Let's get those bits and pieces we need, and we'll I'll show you what I've got. That's that done. That took a lot longer than it should have done. I made a mistake here. Well, the first mistake was putting that on the collet, or whatever it's called. What's that called? Like a roll pin. I put it on before I did the shaft. Twat. And then when I realised that, I took it off, put the shaft in, put it back on, forgot the spacer, the shim. Sometimes you should just stick to Tamiya. Right, CVD's all done, nice. Right, I'm going to build the other one up. At least I know what I shouldn't be doing. Don't do it again. That was unnecessarily stressful. But now I know. Brain in gear, look at the instructions. Stop pissing about. Right, let's get the other one built. Hindsight. So put that on first, then build the CVD. It stops any sort. It just went straight in because you can hold it there. Just sort of wedge it in a little sort of the V shape of the vise and just tap it in. That took like 10 seconds. The other one like 5 hours. It wasn't 5 hours, but it was a good hour and a half pissing around. Yeah, but it doesn't, unless you've built one, you don't know, do you? All you associated professionals out there, at least I know when I build my RC10, I know what to do. Right, let me just build this one up. I wish there was a timestamp, because that was done. That was literally 30 seconds. Amateur. So the first one took like, oh, I don't know, over an hour. Second one under 30 seconds. Done. Buttery smooth and proper, you know, drive shafts. So right, bottom wishbone and the rear arm mounts. Now I think we've got different toe on these, I would think, different angles. So usually more toe in is more stable. I'll have a look at that. And they just screw together with hinge pins and my favourite E-clips. E-clips. Oh god! But I've got a different set of pliers now. Although I have bent them already, but they should work. We'll see. We haven't lost anything yet. Might have lost my mind, but not bits. So, yeah. Step 2, rear end build, and it goes on to the chassis. So it tells you here that we've got forward facing holes. So I think that means you fit these on these holes here. That one, for example, and that one. So forward facing, but they are, I would think these are different. I need to look into that. Right, let's put it together. So I'm going to put these together. So this is the right hand side, looking down at the car, and these rear arm mounts will go like this with a hinge pin. But what is quite tricky is the angle, because I'm not sure you can see that, but that's not, that bit isn't straight with this bit, so it's obviously got toe in. But you can put that way round on the other side. You can, well, I can see it. I think I can see it anyway. But it doesn't say that in the instructions. It just says to mount it on these forward holes, which is fine. But it doesn't give you any information about that. And they're just numbered on the sprue. They're not even in pairs. Like 3, 4. Sorry. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They're all different. So across the sprue to the other, the tree, sprue, whatever you call it, that's a pair and that's a pair. And I've taken these two. But it doesn't actually say anything on the instructions which way round they go. If you didn't know, you wouldn't know, would you? So that goes on square with the chassis, or square with anything. And I can see that the arm is giving it toe in on the back. Well, it looks like it from where I'm stood. Right. Just thought I mentioned that because it's a bit pants, isn't it? Got the hinge pins here to go on, and then the E clips again, and then I can put the back on there. That'll be good. Then I can turn the page finally. So page 10. Right, it's a case of putting these together and onto the chassis. There you go, voila. So next page, let's find out. So step 3, bulkhead and rear camber turnbuckles, and then the shock tower, which will go on, and then it'll be my favourite bit, shock absorbers. So I'm going to work my way through to step 5. We can then put the rear camber links on, and that will hold up the wishbones. So yeah, and I'll be back when I start doing the shocks. So that's the back all done, apart from the gearbox. Shock tower, you know, rear camber links, CVDs, front's all done. Looks alright, it's doing really well. The next stage is the shocks, my favourite bit, and I do actually enjoy building shocks. It's very therapeutic. So you hold tight and I'll start building the shock absorbers. It's certainly different from Tamiya, miles different. I'll be honest, as I'm glad I've built this, because when I build my next RC10 it won't seem quite as alien. So it's probably a lot simpler, but race pedigree, which is good. Still disappointed in these bell cranks. There's movement there, and I just don't know what to do about that. But I still haven't found anything out yet as of this part of the video, so yeah. Right, let's get them shocks built. Okay, onto the shock absorbers. Shock absorbers. It's my favourite bit. Well, it's not. No, let me rephrase that. It's not my favourite bit, but I don't actually mind building shocks. They can be a little bit long-winded, but no different to, you know, track control arms and things like that, and steering rods, camber links. So you've got to get the lengths right, or as near as possible, because you can adjust them on the car. The reason I like the shocks is I get a lot of satisfaction out of making them as equal as I can. Now, I think the first team associated shocks I built was for the Fan RC, the sort of the graphite copy. Now, I'd never built team associated shocks before I built that one, so I didn't even know about the tool that you use to put all the seals in. This, I didn't even know anything about that. I did wonder what it was, but now I know. So that's quite important. So the first thing I've done is step one, is identified by putting dots on them, 1, 2 and 3. On the instructions it says here quite clearly, use number 2 for the front shocks and number 1 for the rear. Now I'm still debating whether or not to use the supplied oil, the damper oil. So I'm building the front shocks first, so that requires piston number 2. So I'm going to take these 2 out of the spur. They call it a spur or sprue. It's not, it's spelled spur. Some people call it tree. I don't suppose it really matters. Yeah, let's get this out. So I need 2 of them. So I'm just going to tidy up these pistons. So any rough edges on there. The markings I put on there were just sort of marker. It doesn't matter that they come off. Now I know what ones they are. So I'm only doing this lightly because I don't want to put these out of shape. That's fine, there's no rough edges on that. This one here where it was on this tree. I'll do this with all my parts that I cut off trees. There we go, so that's nice and smooth. So we got the rods. I'm just making sure I've got the right ones. Yeah, so we've got the piston rod here, 2 of them. I'm going to build them in pairs. Talking of doing my favourite bits, E-clips again. So I use my tweezers because, well, I say it's easier, but it's still really fiddly. So it needs 4 of them, but I'm only get 2 at the moment, just for now. I think, like I've mentioned before, so what I tend to do with these ones is line them up with the bottom groove and then drop them everywhere. Yeah, God, it's not only that, so I should wear my glasses. I can't see jack. Right, so that's on there, but making sure it's face down. They're not difficult to clip on, they're just small and fiddly, and with my eyesight it's sometimes difficult to see because you're sort of in your own light as well. Some people, when they do these online, make them look so damn easy. Maybe they edit it out. Right, that one. So it clicks on, like it's got a little ear on the end, and then it sort of clicks again with the centre bit, so you know it's on. The pistons can go on. They don't matter which round they go. And then we get another E-clip. Now this is where it all goes horribly wrong. You could buy a new set of pin nose pliers. I bought a tool that does this. Now, although it works, I'm not saying it's the best way. I still think the pliers is the most practical way to do this. Thing is, I know you can't see it, but it's too small for me to show the camera. Oh, that's why it just pinged off there. Look. That's it. You heard it click. and there it's on. How close can I go? That looks out of focus. I've just moved the camera up very slightly, so that rests on top, then it clips on. You need a decent set of pliers, not like the other ones I had which slipped, but they're both on now. Now what I'm hoping is that doesn't become too blurry, that you can see it. There you go. Right, the next bit is super important. Because we've got a couple of bushings, another little clip which helps clip all this together, which is something easily overlooked. And the important thing with these things is that you make sure there's no like, rough edges. Which doesn't bother me because I do this anyway. I just sort of I use like a little flat file and I guess get these edges off. So with the instructions, it labels the red O-rings, and then it's got everything else is the clear one. So it's got, firstly, well, you put that has to go on first, like the little the clip. Then it says a red O-ring. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. My eyes. So the first one is O-rings, and yeah. So the clear O-ring is first, and then a red O-ring. Two of them, and then you've got the spacer, little plastic sort of spacer, then another O-ring, the red one, and another clear one. So technically you've got the clip, I'm going to check this now, the clip, clear O-ring, red O-ring, collar or spacer, red O-ring, clear O-ring. It doesn't really look right to me. We'll be using the O-ring grease, shock O-ring grease as well. So this is where you put the applicator. You put the clip on first, and then you put a clear O-ring. It's an O-ring. It's not really an O-ring, it's plastic. And then a red O-ring. Then the spacer. And then the red O-ring again, and this plastic one. So it should look like that. Hopefully you can see that if it focuses. Hopefully you can see that. The camera's blown up. So for now, all I'm going to use, there used to be an applicator that puts this on, but for now I'm just going to use a screwdriver. You don't want loads on there. And I just go around mainly where the O-rings are. That's come off. So we just Okay, so I've only literally put that much on. It looks quite a lot, but it's fine. And then it says to put shock fluid on there anyway, but we're going to get the body. Now these are the fronts. And it just says to push it in, so place on a table and push down hard until the clamp snaps into place. And it should poke through the end, so let's try that. That goes on, that goes on, and technically I'll try and turn the heating off. Let's see if you can hear it click. It goes through the hole. I think that's it. I think it clicked in. Yes, it has. It didn't actually click very loud, but that puts all the O-rings at the end here. Not sure you can see in there. You probably won't be able to see it in there anyway, but so that one's done. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make up the other side now and do the same and click it in so we're both done like this. So that's both done. It says they snap into place. I'll be honest, I didn't hear them snap into place, but it doesn't mean they haven't snapped into place. It now says that these pistons and rods will go in, and they should feel fairly smooth. Well, they should not. It doesn't say that, but they're going to feel fairly smooth anyway, aren't they? So like so. Right, so that's those bits done there. The back ones I'll make separately, but what we've got to do now is put an end on and a little like ball joint, if you like. So one of those. Don't know if you can see that. Then it's focusing on everything else other than me, I'm sure. But anyway, one of those. And it's these ends. I think they're all the same. No, they're not. Build 2 front and 2 rear. Okay. So 6420, 6421. It doesn't actually say which one's which. We've also got a couple of O-rings to go on. They just go on the top, but it should just roll over there, to be honest. So I've done that one, and then we'll do that one. Okay, so that's easy. So it's got a load of shock ends. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I would think the front would have the shorter ones, would it not? Which would be these two there. The shorter sort of shank on them. It doesn't actually say. I think these instructions could do with being a little bit clearer, but let's get these smoothed out. So the pivot ball should just pop in, but I think I might need to use this tool here. I don't know if I did need to use that, but that's in. and then this just screws, will screw onto there. And I've just, for the fronts, I have used the shorter eyelets, if you like. Now this is where I'll use my tool again, and we put this in so that it grips the shaft, and we just turn that on. I mean, even the fronts are still quite long, aren't they? Okay, so let me do the other one, and then I'll be back. So that's them both complete, built initially. Now I'll do the rear shocks off camera, but it's got a step-by-step instruction here of bleeding. So step 1, pull the shock shaft all the way down, which it is. Then says fill the shock body 3/4 full with silicone oil. 3/4. So for now I'll use what they supplied, because otherwise it won't get used. 3/4. So I'll do 1. Quite thin, so that's 3/4. It then says slowly move the shock shaft up and down to remove air from under the piston and wait for the bubbles to come to the surface. So I can see bubbles in there already, so I can see all the bubbles all pointing up. You can't. Actually, you can't see anything. There's still bubbles there, so I go up, down, and it says wait for the bubbles to come to the surface, then fill the shock body to the top, place several drops in the cap and cap threads, install the cap and tighten completely. I'll just move this one up and down again a little bit, but not fully up to the, and down. There is a lot of air bubbles in there, so it seems like all the air bubbles have come out. I'm just going to do 1, like I said. So this is a couple of drops in the cap and the thread. Is that thread again? And then do up tight. So that's tight. It then says slowly compress the shaft all the way to the top. If there's pressure at the top of the stroke, there's too much oil. You must bleed it out. Let's try that first. So slowly raise the shock up. There's no pressure there. Should it stay in? I suppose there is pressure. See that? So what it then says, slowly pull the shaft down, unscrew the cap 3/4 of a turn and tilt the shock to an angle. Right, so I need some paper. So it says all the way down, unscrew this back 3/4, slowly compress the shaft to push out excess oil and air. You should see bubbles coming out from underneath the cap. With the shaft compressed, tighten it back up. Right, well, it's not coming out now because the air's been pushed out. Then tighten it back up. It's very slightly coming back out, but before it still comes out a little bit. Push it up and let it go. It's not as much, so there must be still a bit of air in there. Repeat the process. So I'm going to undo it again, all the way down, undo this 3/4 of a turn, like that, slowly push it all the way up, then do it up. Still think there's a bit of air in there. It's not much. That's fine, it's literally only coming back that much, but it does feel through the whole stroke really smooth. So that's, well, not how I do my shocks, but that's how Team Associated tell you to do your shocks. So let's write this down a minute. I'll do the other one. I'll come back and show you when I've done it to that point and see if they're the same. Both shocks done. Both very accurate and the same. What's next? So we've got the little collar to go on, which we can put on both. And like that. And one like that. Now they do need those little screws put on, so we'll just pin them at the top for now. Listening to Team Associated talk about the RC10, they, on the original RC10, they were quite disappointed with the non-Teflon shocks. I think a competitor at the time might have had them, or was it the Teams Edition car? Up until that point, not sure if Teflon coated, like the Fan RC, which you can't see, but it's got Teflon coated shocks on it. So that's that. We've got these end caps here, which I need to take these out, because it's sort of, the spring sits sort of lower than what I'm trying to show you what the shock body's a bit of a gap there, isn't there? So let me just undo that. I suppose if I used longer standoffs at the end, it will push this up a bit higher, the bottom, so we'll, for now, just temporarily put that like that. But they feel, out of interest, really smooth and nicely done. We've got a little eyelet to go at the top there with an aluminium washer and shock bushing, then it goes onto the car. So what I will do is get the other one built up and come back when because I might change the end eyelets, I don't know yet. Based on that there, it needs to be 7.5mm from the screw to the top, and that's way over that. And there's still a tiny bit of play there as well. So yeah, let me build these up, this front one, and I'll come back when I'm going to put it onto the chassis. Then I'll build the rear shocks off camera and come back when it's on all 4 shocks on the chassis. So give me a second. So the front's on, went together really well. There and there, nice. Yeah, so I think what I will do now is the rear shocks, put them on. I'll be back when they're done. The instructions are not that clear. if I'm honest. They could do with a bit more work. It's just unsure with the spacers and various bits and pieces. But yeah, it was easily. I mean, it pays off taking a bit of time doing the shocks. They feel absolutely really smooth, so can't wait to get the wheels on it, to be honest, on the front with my floppy steering. I'll need to look into that as well, because there's no way that should be doing that, but it's a separate conversation. Right, let's get the rear ones built, and voila, can you see that? It's going off and I head back to the camera, hang on. Well, yeah, voila, it's not done. It's the shocks are all on there, really good. Really good. Lovely and smooth. I want to get the wheels on, but gearbox is next. Yeah, beautiful. And it's still very light. Yeah, so transmission build. So it's the diff thrust race. Yeah, so that's the gearbox, and then that's it. And it's all pretty much together. Then we'll set the wheels on. The motor probably could go in. Here we are building the diff. So the first thing to do is the ball diff. We've got bearings in there as well, bushings. Well, they got bushings in the kit, we've got bearings. So we've got the ball diff, and then the thrust race. So it's a bit fiddly. I'm not going to necessarily do step by step, because you can see here, you know, ball diffs are the balls in there with the plates on one side with the bushings and the out drives, and you've got the thrust and the washers each side. The thrust washers, the sort of what puts it together, and then you put the whole diff together and it locks up. So what I'm going to build that. What I've actually got is loads of sort of oils and lubricants. There's one here I have got, which we will use. So this is just stealth. Well, this isn't it. So this is. It's got stealth differential lube. This can go in that as well, so that's that. But I've also got things like for the thrust. I think this is it here, isn't it? So we've got like that's for the thrust race. I've got other diff lube as well. I don't know if I've got like ball diff grease. So I'll just use what I've got there, to be honest. So we'll just be using these as lube, and I'm going to build this up. I'll show you once I've built it, because it's a bit fiddly to keep breaking off. Got to move the car, so I need a little bit of space. Right, that sounds like a bit of a plan. Quite a long video, but I'm trying to do it from start to end. The temperature today is ridiculous. 12.5 degrees, 97% humidity. It is raining, but it's not cold. Although I've got a hat on, it isn't cold by any stretch. It's ridiculous. Heating's on for a little bit just to take it up a fraction in here to stop the dampness. but I'm going to crack on with this assembly and move this out of the way, and I'll be back just to show you bits and pieces of it. I think that's the diff done. It's really smooth. I haven't done it up like super tight. It could go tighter, but those little like 332 carbide diff balls, you only get enough, which is like, I think it's 12, isn't it, or something? Yeah, 12. You just get 12, so don't lose them. But that's really, really good. It's a diff. It's very easy to build, isn't it? It's not exactly rocket science, but we've now got half the gearbox, lay shaft, or idler gear, lay shaft, bearings, drive shaft, drive gear. So we'll get these, and it's these here now. Let's get that built up as well. So you don't need a lot of grease as such, but what they give you is hardly any. Look, it's like, I mean, it is in there like a little smidgen, like a hair. Little hair. There's enough in there. Look, I mean, it's, to be fair, it's, you know, it does the job. Yeah, so that's now onto actual step 2: idler gear, shaft, drive gear, bearings, and part of the stuff, transmission. And I'll put a little bit of this on the gears. I don't think I actually need to, but I will put a little bit on there before I seal it up. I'll be back in a minute. Just show you this before I put it together actually. So stealth transmission. It is like really smooth. You don't necessarily need to put any grease in there. I think I've read somewhere that you don't need to do it, but I will. Just a few little dabs on the gears like that. I'm not going to do much more than that. I think the purpose of a stealth transmission is not to have grease on it. So I'm going to put this together, and I'll come back once I've fitted it to the chassis. So we're on to step 4 of the transmission build. It's all built. It feels really good. It's got this sort of weird foam cotton spacer. I don't know, but unless I'm going absolutely blind as a bat, on step 4 it doesn't actually say. I've got this part to put on, and there's clearly a bearing there, but it doesn't say put a bearing in there or there, unless I've missed it. But that technically, that goes on like that, but it doesn't actually say put the bearing in there. But we're building up like this, typically what is a slipper clutch, and then it can go in. So there are quite a lot of mistakes in the manual, which I did read about, but not specifically what the mistakes were. So yeah, I wonder why that. I wonder if it was like that on the original. I wouldn't know. So yeah, so we've got to build this up now, this slipper. It doesn't actually say how tight to do it. I've got a rough idea, but when it's actually running. But anyway, interesting. But let's get this bit built, and then, and if I get any problems I'll let you know. But we're then going to put it into the chassis. And then what's after that? It's the electrics, gear covering, battery, wheels and tyres. So probably once I've got the transmission in, I can stick it on wheels and tyres, and we'll call this part of the video done. It's a long video, sort of start to finish, and then we'll just separate video for, you know, electrics, body shell, etc. Right, let's we've got all these here as well. What are they for? Why have I got a load of them? Oh, there's some bits here. Okay. Don't jump the gun, Dean. Don't jump the gun. I need to backtrack. I said put a bearing in there, and then that sort of slides in. Okay, but that's, I think that's wrong, because I've got like a pin, what were they called? It's got to go in the shaft, but the shaft pin's further in, so I've got to take this off. So maybe that's the mistake. Either way, this bit is completely wrong. It's not the end of the world, just got to take this off, but take this off, put that dowel pin back in, so that, I'm assuming it's that, so this goes on. And then there must be a bearing in there, I don't know. It does say bearing there now, bushing, yes, so that is a little bit of my mistake. The bushing's actually on this bit here, so anyway, thought I'd let you know that. I'll let you know I've cocked up. Right, left and right. Let's get on with it. Well, rolling chassis, pretty much. Not without its problems, I have to say. But it looks alright. Feels great. Everything is super smooth, but there are flaws. The track control arms, camber links, which you kind of knew anyway, are too tight. So any adjustments just come off. These are the standard links, so I have got the upgraded links to put on with different ends. I'll have to source them. But yeah, I mean it's got its carpet tyres on, which you can see here. But it is great. There's a few more bits to go on. A floppy steering. Don't know what I can do about that. But it actually looks pretty smart, I have to say. I'll sort of show you some of it. I don't know if it'll go blurry or not, but yeah. It's a nice build. It's quite easy, even though I struggled. I think that will conclude the video anyway, for now. But I'll do, it's a bit of a long video, but I'll do a quick closing on my faults, and hopefully by the time you've seen this, maybe I'll have the answers. But the next stage of video for this is going to be installing the electrics, motor, speed controller, RC10T. So in the last video we just put the electrics in, and they went in. They went in really well. Plenty of room. No expense spared. Brief servo, oxide speed controller, Samwa receiver. So we're just going to pretty much tidy that up a little bit now. We've just got to do a bit of cable management, and then we're going to probably fit the body, well, cut the body shell and fit the body shell. So I'm just going to move the camera down so you can see what I'm doing. So there's not much to do. I'm going to cut these cable ties off and things, but it's just a case of getting it's this one I want to try and sort out, is the battery leads, because I don't want to accidentally plug these in the wrong way round. I know you think, well, that's red and that was black, but I'm going to get a battery out just so that I can, these are going to fit to the side somewhere, so there's a shorter version, the lead's a bit shorter, allowing me just to plug you know, in the positive or negative terminal, and then we've got sort of like the caps here, which are, I think they've got, I don't know if that will come out, no, so that needs to be stuck down with some tape somewhere, so that'll be next. The servo, I've got some double-sided sticky tape which I'll use. Shock horror, we're going to use Tamiya with my team associated. So let me just get a battery. So the battery's just situated, I think. Now the problem is where do I run it? Being, now I could run the terminals the other way, so that you know, I need to just put this there. That's not long enough, so that might need to stick there. See, that would fit across there. I'd have to stick it there though, to allow enough of that to go over, which it would. So that would fit there. Now, where did I put all my wire tidies? I think they're here. So I've got some of these. I've got others. I'm hoping that you've got enough light. Can you see that? So, I don't know what I was doing. Show the camera and say nothing. These just sticky cable clips. I think these will work fine. At least they've got, I've got loads of these everywhere, but you buy some things and you never quite know where you've put them. Now these are not going to be, it's not going to hold the wire, you know, in a fixed position, so it's going to move, but at least it will keep it a bit tidier. So it doesn't really matter at the minute. I'm going to put that to the side of the chassis, like that. That can go in. Now we have got, it's a bit tricky actually, it's all in the way, so that goes up. So it does depend on where I clip it, so that should be enough there. Not that. And down. Now the other thing is I need to be able to get the battery out. That should be fine. That will go across there. That will reach. The other one, I suppose, is slightly less important. As in, I could run that round this side, clip it on here, a bit further like that, so that can just sort of fold round on itself. I think that would work there as well. That's the other side of the chassis then. So I'm going to fart. Have that. Have that. Right, so I'm just going to put this side. I'm going to move the wire out. Like so. And then, I don't know if you can see, I do need it a bit lower. Like that. And I bend it up a little bit because it's, well, that's that. I've just got to run this so that it doesn't foul on anything, like that. Now that should be enough. So that one will go on there. So you see that on there? I'll going to run it across like that, and the other one, it will reach there but goes there, so we can assume at the moment, but that's there okay. Might as well stick at the easy bit down is this power pack. So simply the best, simply put that right in there. Decided to stick it on the chassis there, so you can see where that goes. Looks a bit dark in here, doesn't it now? You can never win with the light in here. I don't know what, I can see perfectly fine, but it seems like, I don't know what it is, lighting and sound. It's the sort of the bane of my life. But anyway, turn the car around. Now on this side we've got the receiver, and we've also got the antenna. Now, where did that antenna tube go? I think I've got that somewhere. The other thing is, where does this go? Where can I put that that's not going to be in the way? Which means it can only go at an angle like that. I don't want it too close to anything that I might need to take off, or it's moving. I mean, it could go, you know, like that, away from the battery strap, and a little more central. And we can tie these up a little bit, and then we'll have the antenna tube in the middle, which will be okay. I could put it there, sort of weight distribution, not that it weighs nothing. I also know there's a upgrade for the servo that holds it on. It's obviously got to fit where these are to go across, so, and I can still get to that. I can still get the battery out. Yeah, and I'll put it there in the middle. There you go. I think it's kind of where it needs to. I've plugged the black one in for now, just to show where the sort of what it would do. I can also put it through that a little bit. That's fine. I'm not going to plug the red one in, but that'll just reach across into there. So that fits well. Receivers in the middle, sort of in line. I've only got one battery elastic band retainer in. I've got the aerial tube in. It's in the centre of the car, so the truck body, it should be fine. Now I think the next thing to do is that obviously we'll test, give sort of a bit of a close-up look at that. What do you reckon? It's pretty neat and tidy, isn't it? Now I'm still waiting for some shocks on the front, as in springs. These are a little bit hard in my opinion. But it doesn't look too bad. So the body shells are going to be cut now, Dremelled, not painted yet because I don't have the weather. I mean, although it's 22 degrees at 0.8, it goes up in here because we've got the heaters on. It's cold, but outside today it was like -2 or 3. And I went out this morning with a dog. It was like -2. But in here, nevertheless, it's lovely. Right, I think now let's go through the procedures of trimming the body shell up and getting it sitting on the chassis. Let me know what you think about what I've done here. I mean, it's, you know, neat and tidy. I've trimmed off all the excess cable tie. It's going to want some setup work anyway in it, so it certainly won't be going out when it's raining. So in the UK that will mean like never. But anyway, let's get the let me get the shell out and we'll go from there. And that went on really easy. I think I'll move the camera so you can see it. It's not fully trimmed, but probably one of the easiest body shells I've ever had to cut in my life. Let me just move the camera around a fraction. Nicely done. I mean, it sits on there fine. There's a little bit, it does sit a little bit low on the, yeah, there's a bit of movement, but I'll put some body pads underneath that anyway. A very light trim on the rounded edges. I don't really think there's much I need to do there, to be honest. Yeah, it actually, it's going to be a bit of a shorter video because there wasn't much really to do there. I think what I might do is, because it's not really the weather to paint anywhere in the UK anyway, it's just too damn cold. Even when you're going to see this video. So I think the best thing to do, because it won't, this is pretty much its race weight, if I'm honest. I've got just out of shot here, you can't really see it, but it's just there, a setup station for a buggy, which this is what this is. I don't know if it's going to be suitable for this. I did buy a ride height gauge, which is over there, but this is too high, and I bought another one thinking it will work, and that's too low. You know, it's the same thing. Yeah, bit of a shame, but we'll figure something out. But there you have it. There you have it. Lovely. What a good build that is. And you won't see the sponsors because the body shall be painted anyway. Yeah, once the I'll put the back, it's in the box there, this sort of aero, what is that, a wing, I could like wing to keep it steady, sort of balanced in the air. But there we go, that's my RC10T, ready for some outdoor carpet fun. Even practice will be alright, won't it? There's some bits I've got to do still, like the turnbuckles. I haven't found anything out about that, which is just don't know what to do. But yeah, finally finished to that point. This is part 3, so from here on in, I think the next video we'll do a quick like setup. We'll use what I've got here. I've got the Sky RC setup station. I've also got Sky RC corner weight scales, so we'll use them as well. Camber and caster digital tools for the camber. I've got toe in and toe out gauge here. It should work. It's made by RPM. I don't know. I don't think it might not be wide enough. Having said that, because how far out does it, I think it only comes out that far. Well, you might be able to because you use the tread on the tyre. So there's that. I'll have to think about a different ride height gauge. These will work on, like this one here. I've got this little one here. That will work on the buggies and things I've got around. So with that one, so I bought that one for that, and that doesn't, you know, that's 24mm, and that doesn't, that's miles out. I mean, it might, I don't know, I haven't checked it since actually, so I know you can't see this, but yeah, that's far too, yeah, it's quite, I don't know what would that be then. I could measure it, but if that's 24mm, it's probably another 10mm. Maybe I can put that on it. Will that balance on it? No. Stop being stupid. In fact, this one's just shy of the bottom of the chassis. With perhaps softer front springs. Maybe do some slightly softer springs as well. Rear. I don't know. The body shell's pretty thin in places, I have to say. So, and I've got the other RC10 here, so that's the GT, which you can't see. I don't know if I can move the camera to see that. Let's see if you can see it if I move this round. Can you see that there? That's it on an original RC10 GT. So I've ordered another one, the new one. Yeah. What's the lighting like now? I'm getting so much trouble with lighting and sound, I don't know what to do. I've also lost an SD card. Just don't know where that's gone. That went in this camera. I've got everything else here, but not that one. Anyway, this is a bit of a shorter video because of time, to be honest. Let me know what you think. How did you find this build? What do you think of this particular build? Have you got an RC10T? Are you going to get one? I mean, they are sort of, everyone's got one now, haven't they? They've probably built it, used it, wrecked it. I'm always a little bit behind, just the way it is by the time I get around. So you can see that this one does have, you know, its carpet tyres on, and there. So they've got to be glued. I do need, the biggest thing with this is the turnbuckles, because they don't turn. If you turn them and to adjust them, they just come off the ball ends, which is a pain, which is why I was trying to find out what other ball ends people use. We've got this to try out as well, to plug in the reef servo. Yeah, I think that'll conclude. Recap: there's a rolling chassis, all built up. The servo. We've got a battery holder for a shorty. The motor's in, but it's not wired. I've just put it in the chassis at the moment, as you can see there. So that'll need to, well, I don't need to take it out, but anything else? I did the front steering crank belt. I did it up much tighter. I think that's what it was. It wasn't tight enough. Now I've got a load of stuff for this now, which can go on, which I'll go over with you. Where should I start? Right, let's get some stuff out of the box. So one of the first things, I don't know if I mentioned this, I can't remember, the reef servo. You can download software and change things within the servo. So I've got that. I haven't used it yet, so that will need to go on a computer. I've got some things here which have just been delivered today. So we've got that. So we've got some pretty cool stuff in here, and you know, I think it is anyway. So we've got a selection of pinion gears. Don't know which one I'm going to need yet, and I might not even need any of these ones, but we've got like a 19, 20. We've got a 19, 20, 22 and 23. I think I got a 21. Did I get one of them? I don't think I did. So we've just got hardened pinions. Again, that's just as and when. Got a Sanwa receiver. These are so expensive. I mean, I've got loads in other cars, but I just don't want to take them out because they're bound to that car, aren't they? So anyway, there's that one. Now this is really interesting. This is a really new speed controller. I was going to go down the hobby wing route, but I decided what are these called? Oxide 1/10 Acceleram. So it's got a fully programmable LCD display on this controller, so you don't need to plug anything in. and it's 140 amps. So designed especially for 1/10 RC cars, buggies, touring, drift, etc. So these are made in the Czech Republic, and I was on an iron whether I should try one, so I thought, why not? So that's got to go in. It's not very big. I'll show you a little. I have got it out of the box before now, and it's made of metal, and yeah, I'm pleased with it. And from the reviews that I've read and people that have used it, they're quite pleased with it as well. So I suppose time will tell. But yeah, so we've got that one. That was really expensive for what it was, £180. Just to remind you, the motor is an 8.5, so that works from 6 turn upwards, which is one of the main reasons why I got that. So we've got a 6 turn that's going to be really quick. Now whether it be too quick is another matter. So let's put all this back in for a minute, so I don't need all this out. Dropping things already. It's like a big magnet. I've never known where a situation where I keep dropping things. Is it? I don't know. It's probably age. Right. So let's just move back to one side slightly. Now, not everything in here is for this, but we might as well do like a little package opening while we're here. A bag in a bag. Some of it's not related to the RC10T, but I've got it anyway. It's got another knife and some blades. Don't know why. I think I was using a voucher, to be honest. I've got some more scissors because I think mine was getting a bit blunt. Some Model Sport stickers because they do some really good deals for me. Well, no different to everyone else, but their service is impeccable. So this is for this car. So I bought some battery terminals and some like a plus and minus cap. Now the ones I have on the, like for example the LMP12, I've got them at like little right angles. I didn't need that for this because of the height. There's that. I've got a little, I don't know how, there's a ride height gauge here. It should work on buggies, but we'll see. It might be too high. Don't know. More stickers here, but I didn't order them. They must have just felt like putting that in there for me. Turnbuckle wrench. Now I didn't buy that for this because you can't turn these, but I don't even know what these are. That's 3.25mm. I'm pretty sure that's not that because I've got a little one for them. And this is a 2S. So a 5000 milliamp hour 2S, which should go in there quite nicely. It does come with I think that's a charge lead. Which I don't think will fit my charger because it's got a Dean's connector on it. And that one's got like an XT90 or XT60, I think, the smaller one. So unless I get that, I can change that. I suppose I could cut those off and put a smaller XT60 on it, and it'll go, because these, they're 5mm. These are 5mm, which go into here. I'm only going to plug one in. Yeah, I didn't realise it came with that. And these are, I'm not sure what they are. Some other spares. What are they for then? They're for the other end. or if you use different ones. And I've got these as well, so I probably get you to buy these. Just the caps. Anyway, you can never have enough of it. So yeah, we've got that, but should fit. It should fit in here nicely. What's that there? Oh, and some body pins. Who likes a little bit of bling? I like purple. Got a thing about purple. Right, let's see if this, how this goes on. So let's take those straps off. That's the sensor lead. I don't want to lose that. Like that. Not too bothered about which around that goes in at the moment. But it does go in there. Let's not that I wasn't expecting it not to go in there, of course, but it does. How tight are these going to go? I'm going to break them. Yeah, it does hold in there pretty well. It's quite hard actually. You don't really want to be messing around doing this on a cold day. And I know there's probably different ways you can fit that in. That's pretty good. So that goes in nicely. Now let's move. I've got no room. Don't fall off. That's going to fall off there, isn't it? So it's got obviously a few things going there. Now I have ordered some springs for this, mainly some front springs, because I think they're a little bit too hard. Now this gauge isn't going to be big enough for that, I don't think. So that might be up as one of the buggies. So this might need, I mean the car probably does need to sit a little bit lower anyway. It's got to have the other bits and pieces put in. Speed controller, that doesn't weigh too much. Receiver, that's nothing. The body shell and the other bits and pieces, it's going to weigh it down a little bit. But this, I think, sits a bit too high. Especially the front. You need the front down a little bit lower. Now I should keep this in a bag, but I don't know, I'm a bit dubious now. I mean, it's been storage charge, but how long has it been in a storage charge? Yeah, shouldn't really keep them like that, should I? I will take it out. And this MIP tool, you can't beat a bit of MIP bling. Expensive though, aren't they? That's what they are. But you know, using up like well at the time Christmas vouchers, I guess. Well, that's not Christmas. Right, that's that. Got an MIP sticker. So that is a 3.25. It's not going to fit those. Well, it does fit those. Problem is with these though is that the ball cups are not strong enough to hold that on. And then we have got an MIP sticker, which we might have to put on the car now. Whilst I don't need to do this, but I'm going to do it. Putting stickers on is never my strength either. I'd always muck it up. Right, let's see if we can get it on the side so that it's at least straight just before that bit there. There we go. The first sponsorship. Well, it isn't because I had to pay for it. Right, that's that. Try it down there. That's handy. I do like. I've got quite a few MLP tools here, but these. The problem with these is that when you move these, it pulls. I don't want to do it. Yeah, they're just. Yeah, it just pulls that straight off. So I need a different solution, because you want to be able to adjust these when you're on the car, don't you? So anyway, good. Now that is not so good. They do other ones. I'll have to get another one as well. But firstly, I'll get this set at the height that it needs to be at. So the next task is once I've cleared all this up, actually I could put another sticker on there, couldn't I? On this side. So, I mean, they've got these only just come out, but they've got to be cut. I don't know, have they? No, they come off. What do you reckon? A bit of bling? Or would that be better? Silver? No, I'll put gold, because there is gold on here. Let me put one of these on. You're probably thinking, what are you doing? No, I'm just doing what I can. Right, I know it's not, you know, team associated. It's not Otley Motorsport. And there we go. Is that on there? The second set of bling. Sponsorship that I pay for. Anyway, that'll weigh it down a bit. For that to actually work, I'm sort of going off piste here. Let's get this out. I know it should be on like a. It's not even going to go on there, is it? So that will need to be for that even to work. That's got to be that low. But that says for a buggy, but this isn't a buggy; it's a trolley, isn't it? So that's there. Yeah, well, I didn't buy it for this. It'd probably work on another car, but you can't knock. I love tools. I love things like that. Okay, what's next? What is next? I think we've got to get the speed controller's got to go in, and wiring. And yeah, speed controller, receiver, or speed controller and wiring. I think that's the important bit. I still haven't sourced turnbuckles, the other ones which are over here. Now, out of interest, I wonder what size these are. Do you reckon they're the same? I bet you're going, yep. So these are the ones that I bought. These are really expensive. Now, does this fit? No. What size are they then? So it doesn't matter anyway. They fit these ones nice. Well, that fits that one really well. But this one, it's probably a different. Well, it's probably a different size. Of course, it's a different size. Right, let me have a look. Everything. We've got to move stuff out of the way. Right, this. That's even smaller. That does fit that. So that's the same. Well, it looks smaller, and it's definitely not going to fit that. So I've got this here, random. Right, so that doesn't fit. But in here, got a couple of things in here which might work. So this is a Tamiya TRF. I don't think that fits, is it? No, it doesn't fit them, but will it fit these? It probably does fit. So that will fit this nicely. But these rod ends don't fit them. I don't know what to do about that. The problem is the thread's too tight, isn't it? So I don't know what to do. There are solutions. I have to ask someone. I know someone I could ask. He does a good RC channel, so I'll probably go from there. So I think that for now could actually live in there with that, because I go my LMP12. Right, let's move this. Let's get some order. Right, let's put this back on the stand. These, so they're just purpley, open. So these are sort of big arse body clips, nothing spectacular, but we can put 4 in here already, can't we? That's the way around. There we go. We've got a slight kick up. There you go. It's just so that, I don't know, just looks good. I'm going to use vouchers at Model Sport. You've got, that one's loose. You've got to use up the vouchers. You can't have a part voucher. Right, what's next? Righty-ho! Never know how to start when I break off from videos. Anyway, in today's video, I need to adjust this. Now, this came with the 2S. I think I mentioned it previously. It's got a Dean's connector on, which is no good. Now, I've got a lead here, which I got made up from MB Models ages ago. That's a 2S lead, great, but they're 4mm, so they don't actually fit. I think they're 5 at the end there, but I don't. My understanding is they don't go in. Oh, they do go in. Oh well, that's completely changed it. I didn't even know that. What was I doing? I was putting these in, so they've been like that, but you push them, the other part in. Oh, they do fit. Oh well, I won't be needing to do anything with that then. I suppose I could do it, but well, that's completely, totally changed what I was going to do. We're not doing this now. There's no need. I've got the bit here that can go on it, so I can make another lead up, but it's not needed. Well, that's really good. I'm pleased with that. I suppose what I might better do then is maybe I do still need to do some soldering. We can get like the motor and the ESC installed. That'll be the next. That's the next phase, isn't it? Now, what I am a little bit concerned with is the lead that goes from the motor, wherever it is, to there. So it's going to limit where I put the ESC. Now, as it happens, I don't know where to plug. It's the top, isn't it? So you plug it in on the top, which is handy. Now, both of these are the same. There's a little, you know, if you look at these, the way they go in, you've got like a little ridge on top, and then the holes for the prongs. You see that? So when you look at the motor, the prongs are sort of at the lower end of the motor, so the actual prongs are sort of facing. You can see that, can you? Can't see it, can you? What am I doing? So there, so the prongs are sort of facing this face. Now, my only worry is once I got this on, is of course solder. So I think the smart move is going to be not to put that on there just yet. So we've got to put, I think we need to tin these. Now, it's not going to be a soldering exercise, because to set a camera up to watch me solder, I don't think it's going to be that exciting. So I'm going to tin these off the camera. I'll dig the ESC out because I've got to decide where to run the cables. I don't think running them through the rear shock tower is going to be advisable, because if you break one of these, you've got to unsolder the whole car, haven't you? So not ideal. You can run around here with I can put some plastic sheath over it, maybe, before I get them soldered, so it's got some form of protection. Yeah, so I need to do this first. Like tin all this up and get the soldering gear out, get the electronic speed controller out, and I'll be back with a little update before I actually get to work. Got the wiring in. Took longer than expected for all the soldering, so I've soldered the motor wires on. I wasn't particularly good at that, but they are on there. I'm not absolutely convinced that they're super tight on there, but it'll do for now. I've run the wiring past the shock tower, not through it, and I've put some heat shrink just to protect it, but I've not actually shrunk it on. I only could fit 2 wires through, not the 3 wires, because I didn't put a big enough sheath on there. It doesn't matter. I've got the sensor lead on, speed controllers in, and I've put the 2 wires, the end caps on, which go into the battery. The plan is now to put the receiver in, bind it, plug it all in. I know the battery's on storage charge, so I'll probably just do a little bit of make sure it's active, and then probably check it's before I put it away, check it's on storage charge. So I haven't put the wiring in its final position, not yet. I'm thinking of putting the receiver. Well, the receiver can only really go in one place, which is sort of here-ish in the corner. Yeah, I'm going to do that now. I'm going to bind the receiver, plug it all in, and I'll come back and show you. I haven't got a pinion in yet, so I'm not really bothered. I haven't cut these off either, so again I'm not bothered at the minute, but I want to make sure that it all works as it should, and then then we'll be sort of ready to go. Not ready to go, nowhere near, and then the body shell can start being messed around with. But I don't know if you can hear that. Shit weather, as usual in the UK. But anyway, let me just bind all this together and I'll be back. Finally got that done. It's not complete yet. Wiring is sort of, I haven't sort of pinned down the receiver, but it's in. It's not difficult to get bound. It's just not as straightforward as what perhaps a hobby wing is. But look at the steering, and the steering's incredible. It's too fast. I'm gonna have to slow it down on the what is it, the exponential, is that what it is? I need to sort that out, but I haven't done any of the settings yet. All I've done is the endpoint adjustments, so that's me turning it really slow. That's ridiculous. It is powered, but it's got no reverse, just standard settings. this quick. So that's that. Let me just turn it off for a second. Yeah, it's incredible. Although, when you think about it, what to get to this level of electronics, the cost is more than perhaps what the truck is. So we're looking at probably, what is that, £90, is it? 90 UK pounds, so about $130 for the end motor. 188 UK pounds, so probably 240 for the electronic speed controller. 50 UK pounds, 65 US dollars for the battery. 80 UK pounds, probably 95 US dollars for the receiver. Okay, you can probably count that one out because you might take one out of another car. And the reef servo, I think, was 124 UK pounds, so you're looking at probably nearly 150, 160 US dollars. So 100, that's 180, say 280, 330, 340, 540. In total, probably getting close to 500, 600 UK pounds on electrics. What's that? $650 US. That's everything. Right. What? Hang on. I'm just looking. There's a massive spider in here somewhere. Although I don't know where it is. It's almost like it's on your back or something. Anyway, it's only a garage spider, but it was pretty big. And I kind of found it when I was trying to get something to do, like get some kits organised, and then I saw it, and it was there. And you just see it's looking at it. It's got, like, I don't know, 8 eyes, and it, you know, it runs in all different directions up like that, and it can do anything, but you just cannot catch it. And I didn't want to kill it. I'm not really, don't know, although I don't like them, I wouldn't kill them, but it's in here somewhere. And this little, what size is this, 9x9 or whatever it is, shed, and I'm forever looking in case it's, you know what it's like, it's there, isn't it, and you're looking for something and you just see it. Oh, so I've been a bit on edge. Anyway, what are we doing? So this video is going to be an interesting video about the RC10T. Now, I'm debating whether to get it from up there. There'll be links in the description when I've built the chassis up. It's got everything I need in it, all the electronics, motor. I spent quite a bit of money on it ages ago. What I haven't done, like anything apart from cut it out, is the shell. Now I've just noticed the shell's got like a little bit of a, I don't know if it's a crack or it's where it's been crushed, but I don't know how, but it's got a bit more. Anyway, it doesn't matter. The shell's been cut out and nothing's been done because I was planning on doing to spray it properly with airbrush. Knowing how bad my painting is in with a rattle can, that's not going to be, doesn't sound positive, but I can hear things. I can hear things walking. If I see it, you're going to know, because I'm going to go, oh my god! I don't know why. If it's not going to hurt you, is it? You could also hear in the background the heater's on for the first time, not because it's particularly cold. It's probably just to warm it up. Lovely for tropical spiders. Right, concentrate. Yeah, I've got an airbrush compressor which is behind the camera, but you would have seen bits and pieces for it. so I can reach this across. Here is the gun. It's not plugged in. It's cheap, as in it's not professional grade, but it'll be good enough. What I was waiting for, amongst 100 other things, is airbrush cleaner, which I've now got, and thinners. More so the cleaner. And the reason I haven't got it is because, well, if you've been watching the channel, you'll notice I've been doing other things on another channel, and that's been taking up a lot of my time, more so than the RC. So I was waiting for funds to become available so I can get that, which I have. I've got paint there, but only a 12 colour segment of paint selection, not a segment. Is it 12? Actually, I rephrase that, it's 24. It's just like that. I mean, you know what paint is, isn't it? I don't need to get these out, do I? Do I? It's just paint. Look. Paint. Nothing spectacular. I've got some more paint coming, a bit more varied on colours. So that's that. Of course, I've never used the airbrush. And I've got another, what else? Yeah, I've just said that, haven't I? Another set of paints coming. Anyway, what am I going to do with this? With it, the colour on the box. Do you need to see the box? I'll show it to you anyway. Well, interestingly, this is the box. Well, you can't really see that, can you? Oh, that's the colour that they sort of put on the box. It's not the original colour. It's not the one I remember, but it's probably good enough. So that's the colour I'm going to try and mimic with airbrush. Actually, what am I showing you? That one? Or, yeah, you can see the shell, can't you? But, you know, that, you know, see it there, look. So that's what I'm going to try and do. Notice the word try. And I'm going to take you along that journey as well, which can either end good or bad. But the first thing I've got to do is I've got to clean this, because it's been sat there for like since I last did that chassis, like forever, and it's all covered in dust now. So I'm going to clean it up, and then I've got to think about masking. Now the first thing probably to do, I know the roll cage on this, which is moulded in the back, you tend to put some highlights down it, which you can, I say you can only do it airbrush, don't know. I wouldn't like to try it with a rattle can because the fan's too like wide, isn't it? So that would be the plan. So I'm gonna, first thing to do is clean window masks, which are in here. Make sure it's all clean on the inside, and mask, which I love masking, everything apart from the roll cage. Yeah, that might change, of course, but yeah, to me that makes sense. To mask everything off and then highlight the roll cage with one here. I'll have to look at the instructions. It's got like grey, but I suppose you can do it black, because I think on the original RC10 the back pit was like that cherry red type colour. Don't know. Have I seen the spider? Oh god, it's not going to hurt me though, is it? Even if it was there, it wouldn't hurt, would it? There's loads of cobwebs there. What the hell's that? Is that a spider on there? I think that is. Oh my god, that's like a dead spider. Hang on a minute. We've got a nice long bit of whatever. Oh no, it's not. Although it is a web. Look at that. Anyway, it's nice and toasty warm in here now, so the spider's probably waking up. Right, I'm still looking. Anyway, let's mask this up. We'll clean it, mask the windows, mask the body, and I'll be back when that's done. And only then we're going to get the compressor on and see how that works, to be honest. So you won't believe how long it's been between cuts in these videos, like 2 or 3 weeks. But finally going to try and get onto painting the RC10T shell. And I'm also using something which I've never used before. 2 things. Let me show you one of them. So liquid mask being one of them. I don't even know if it's ready, so I'm going to leave it to set for a couple of days. Currently, that's what I used. But I think I don't know. I think it should have been sprayed on, or maybe a different one. Anyway, that's the first thing. The second is the compressor. Yeah, never used that before. Don't know what it will come out like. I've marked it on the outside of the sort of a rough idea of where I can detail the shell. It's going to be very similar to the RC10 GT. There is an original C10 GT from back in the day with my own take on design, and there is the re-released RC10 GT, which I still, as you can see, haven't built. So, don't know. There's the roller, by the way. So I don't quite know how this is all going to turn out. And yes, there is a spider in here somewhere. And I found out that the roof's leaking. That's annoying. I don't know if it's condensation or just the rain, but there's nothing ripped on top, no, like the felt. And it wasn't a cheap shed, but oh well. These things are here to test us. So I'm going to wait for that to dry. I'll be back in your time in a minute. Where should I start? So there's a leak. Can you hear the rain? But I found the leak. It's a tiny little, I don't know, it must be somehow coming in through the roof, and then it runs, you know, the shed's got slats, but they're like, what's it called? They don't overlap, they kind of fit in like tongue and groove, but somehow leaking through, and then it runs along the groove and drips. Now I still have got like soundproofing all on the ceiling, because you couldn't see it, couldn't see the ceiling, because the water was behind that, building up, and I noticed it was wet. At least I've identified where it is, but of course it's dark for one, and it's chucking down. Like the English weather's just like England. It's crap over here. But anyway, where are we going now? So I've done a bit of the masking, the liquid mask. I've also, you can see, which it worked really well, I was surprised, I've just trimmed where I want the sort of the mask to go up to, so you can see it's sort of on this bit here, sort of nice. It's a straight-ish line, and then it sort of curves to the bottom. I've done it like that, so it curves around. I've drawn this on the outside and just followed it through with a not so sharp knife, although it is sharp. But when you do this, you want that like really sharp, and this is just like a used blade. So it's done that both sides. So effectively, what's going to happen now? I don't know if I do it now, because it's going to be airbrushed, which I've never used, but I don't want to make a mess either. We'll have to see. But this, the bit that's clear, I've got to wipe it down, and that's going to be like a red. Now the other thing is, I'm pretty sure that the paints have to be a certain paint. Do they not for Lexan? Well, I don't know. I could be. I've not even looked into that. Or is it just airbrush paint and it doesn't matter what it goes on? But I'm pretty sure it will. So, which leads me on to another thing: is have I got the right paints? So I'll have to have a look because I don't actually know. I'm reading it now, live. Don't know. Anyway, that's a separate thing, isn't it? I mean, I know you can buy specific RC paint, which I haven't done, so that could be a problem. I'll need to look into that. But anyway, let me clean this up, and I'll be back with an answer, regardless whether it's the correct paint or this is ready to go. So I'll see you in a sec. Right, stop raining. Result. Check. Yep. Still leaking. Actually, do you want to see it? Let me show you it. It's like real life stuff. Give me a second. There it is. That's not wet. That's like a knot. But I've drawn a little arrow pointing where the drip is. Now that looks like it drips way out the way, but it drips onto there. It's got felt on the roof, so I've got no idea what the hell that. I mean, that light looks wet there, but it's not. That's dry as a bone. And I took all the felt off of here because it was like damp under there. That's not damp. That's just glue that doesn't want to glue anymore. So I can put that back on. But yeah, that's annoying, isn't it? But it has stopped raining. I mean, I'll put that there to see where it's dripping. I can't see it anywhere else because I've got the TV there as well. Look, it's right on the telly, but I can't. I don't think it's gone on the telly. I mean, the light's still on. I've got that on. Although, it's not exactly cold in here. 20 degrees. But, anyway, I thought I'd show you that. So, I've had a quick practice with the airbrush on an old body shell. So, this was like red, like translucent. It's a bit of a knackered body shell for the 1/12 car, but what I was trying to do is just direct highlights between the bits that you can't normally get to with a rattle can. I'm not looking at the sort of the how, you know, it is bad. It's not like a professional job. It's still wet. But you know, like you could never, it'd be really difficult to spray that edge a different colour with a rattle can unless you're really good, which I'm not. Oh, it's still sticking to me. Underneath I sort of just did a couple of passes with red and black. All I was trying to do was see how it comes out, because the control, it's quite hard, and I don't want to muck that up with this. You know, you can see I've missed a few bits here, look. But you can follow the contour around once you get used to how to use it. You can see that from afar it might look alright, but you can see where you can highlight bits of it. I did a little colour red there just to see what it will cover like, but overall I actually think that's quite good. So I think a bit more practice and we'll get on to this. It feels a bit weird at the moment, but anyway, I'll be back once I know what I'm doing with that. So where are we at? That's a good question. Paint everywhere but where it should be. Let's start with the positives. The paint does work. So I did try it on those 12 scale old body shells. I'll flex them around a little bit. It doesn't all flake off. Like, it might do over time, but it was fine. The leak, I've temporarily fixed it. Seems like it's going between the felt on the roof, you know, the roofing stuff. There's a join and it does overlap and it slants away from the water, like the roof slants downwards. So I put some like not any old tape, like aluminium tape on the top, sealed the bottom and put a bit here. It's temporary for now. As you can hear, it's now raining. It wasn't. It was quite a nice day today, but now it isn't. I bet you're wondering what I've done so far. Well, good and bad, but at least I know what I've done. I think it's really bad. But anyway, initially I've done a bit of the red. I tried to highlight the roll bar, but I put too much red on it, so it only needed a lighter coat, then the black, and then more red. It could do with a better finish of red, if I'm honest, and the what do you call it, what is that called, liquid mask, wasn't fully covering it all, so it's going to look pretty darn messy when I take off the other mask, like this blue stuff where I want it, and put another colour on it. It's not, because a bit of the car, or quite a lot of the car, is going to be white, so maybe I could have to remove any red on there, I'd clean it a little bit. I'm hoping the other colours I'm going to use, which will be yellow and orange, to simulate the GT version of this body shell, and I'll have to sort of paint the roll bar on the outside when I've done, like a little bit of it, because it's just not very good. And I don't think, what is it, the compressor, well, the compressor's fine, it works fine, and the sort of the brush, not the brush, the air gun, it works fine, but I don't think it's either I've got the wrong nozzle in it. There's someone up there, I think, might be too small. But the fan, like the spray fan, is not, I don't think, wide enough. So yeah, it hasn't come out too good. It doesn't, I mean, this is all new. I mean, it's a shame to sort of use it on a body shell that's going to be used, but I'm pretty sure with the stickers on it, you won't even see half of it. And it's not for show, is it? I mean, if you look at all the other, you can't really see them, can you? But anyway, well, you might be able to. There's the RC10GT here. You can see that behind me. And below that is a Schumacher 3-speed. But that, I painted all that. It's come out right. I mean, in the day, it's not. They might be shelf queens, but they're going to be used. And, you know, so we'll see. It's all good practice. I think overall, I think what am I trying to say? The airbrush technique is a lot better. It's better than rattle can. So yeah, good and bad. Now what I'm going to do is, I'm not going to keep showing you my mistakes unless you want to see them. You have to let me know. But I mean, it looks quite good on camera, but it doesn't. Look, from here it looks good on camera, but I know it's not that good. But we've got to wait for this to dry, and then we'll head off and do like the other colours. I've got to sort of cut those out a little bit. Yellow, well, the yellow and orange I'm going to use, it's not quite what I wanted to use, but we've got this like lemon, this is like Naples yellow, so it might not be yellow enough. I mean, looking at the picture, that is quite light on the GT. And then we've got like an orange. This is like, well, it says orange red. It looks alright. I suppose the good thing is, for what I need it for, these paints are fine. I'm not saying actual airbrush paints for Lexan bodies will be better, because it will, but they're quite expensive. And these are quite cheap off of Amazon. But they still, there's enough flex in there anyway. You know, I'll show you. I was asking about with these ones, but you know, it's just not. It's not going to come off. And these are like really thin as hell. So there you go. So I'm going to crack on. Let this dry. Crack on.
and I'll come back when I've got some other bits and pieces to show you. This, like I said, this video's like, I don't know, I think it's filmed over like all summer. Believe it or not, I've got a different hoodie on, so but that's actually grubby now because I've had it on for ages in real time. So anyway, yeah, I think, yeah, all right, we'll crack on, and I'll come back when I've got something else with the paint to show you. What we're done, I've got to say, this is the most disappointing paint job I've ever done. I've tried to hide most of it. There you go. Oh, and there we go. Yeah. What do you think? God. You won't believe what I've hidden. But anyway, certainly not box art. But God, we all need, I think we all need a Greg in our life. And I don't mean sausage rolls. This is mental. But what it's done, let's just show you it on the deck a minute. I mean, it's a nice truck. Pity that I can't paint. I almost never bothered finishing the video, if I'm honest. Almost. But don't know what I'm doing that for. But anyway, that's that done. It's like, I don't know, 4 or 5 weeks, and the end result is what? Let me know what you think, and then we'll get on to perhaps setting it all up, putting the rest of the turnbuckles on. I think I'll do that in another video, and we'll get it out on the outside, but you know, certainly not in the winter. And from afar it doesn't look too bad, but it's just stickers, isn't it? It's just all stickered up. I'm not sure it looks as good as what it, I don't know, it looks okay from a distance, but